everybody. How we doing out there in the Service Alliance community? Doug?
Yes. Good morning. Hey, man. Going on with Zach every Tuesday is like having steak dinner weekly, right? But to come on with you is a huge honor, and it's kind of like having a fine dessert or something, some chocolate melded and molded. So I'm glad you asked me, man. I love hanging out with you.
The forbidden fruit, the forbidden pleasures.
I don't know. I can go in a lot of places with appliance guys. If you've watched the hub, So you got to be careful with the forbidden fruit stuff.
What's your favorite dessert? Which one?
It's always chocolate and cherries, right? To make that into a cake or a pudding, it's all over for me, right? So absolutely. Yeah. But you guys down south, it's got to be like something mixed with grits or something like that. Like, what's your dessert?
Oh, no, not mixed with grits. I've had grits for breakfast. They're not bad. Good morning, Joe. I like cherry pie with ice cream.
There you go.
Hot cherry pie with ice cream. And that's me. That's what you are.
I think you love dessert, buddy, because you got a little dance in your eyes, Pre-roll, you looked a little, Monday morning, but you mentioned dessert. So actually, it's starting to get a little chilly up here in the mornings. So I don't know about anyone else, but my whole career, I lost sweatshirts and jackets because you start out on the first service call with your jacket on or your sweatshirt, and you put it on the chair in the kitchen. And then by the fourth call, you're like, which house was that at? And then I would just lose so many company outerwear. So does that ever happen to anybody out there? Because I started having to put my keys in my jacket so I wouldn't forget them,
It happens to my techs throughout the winter. I don't wear a coat for that reason. That's one of the reasons. Like, I don't like being restricted.
All right.
And, like, I would take my jacket off everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And like, why even wear it? Like, people would tell me all winter when I get to their door, like, aren't you cold? Like, where's your coat? I'm like, well, I don't need it in your house. You're just walking from here to there.
Yeah.
You let me, I won't need it.
Well, you're getting close. There's times when you get older where you have to do this to read, and you need your bifocals. And then there's gonna be time when your blood thins out, EJ, and you're gonna go, damn, this winter's brutal. So I'm telling you, it's coming, my friend.
Yeah. We got Adam checking in. Good morning. Saul down in sunny Florida. He don't have that problem. Now they do, they start wearing their winter coats when it gets about 50.
Yeah, in Florida.
Yeah, Zach looks different this morning. Actually, speaking of Zach, let's give a shout out to Zach, man. My brother Zach, he ran his first half marathon, 13.1 miles.
Yep.
He's been planning and training for this for months, and he crushed it. I mean, if you can run 13 miles, you're a winner. Zach, we love you, brother.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, good job. You're setting goals and hitting them. That's so much fun, right? Watching other people set goals and hitting them.
That's what we do, man. We love celebrating people.
Yep.
Joe says he sets his on his tools.
Yeah.
Because he's lost a lot before.
Yeah.
Gaspar wearing his heavy winter coat because it's 70 degrees in South Florida. What's up? What's up, Gaspar? Yeah, that's why. I got you, brother.
Are you going to Asti Gaspar? Or am I going to be able to meet Gaspar for the first time, or what?
Gaspar said he's not going to PSA because he plans to go to Asti.
Okay.
He's only going to go to one this year, and he's picking the big one.
Yeah,
he's picking the big one.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. Looking forward to meeting you.
Says he's going.
Yeah.
And it's 90, and he's wearing his winter coat.
Oh man.
Facebook user says good morning. Scott Holt, what's up, champ?
Yep. Morning, Scott. Holt.
He's the winner. He's the best in Richmond, Mechanicsville. Let's check everything over here. I can't wait for PSA. I'm going to PSA. It'll be my first one. If you haven't got your tickets yet, and you want to go to PSA, we have $50 off if you use promo code SVA. Should be a good time. I checked the schedule. There's lots of classes going on, lots of classes. Just like ASTI, it should be a good time. We've got lots of vendors showing up, so check that out. And definitely go to ASTI this year. Gasper sending his sons to PSA.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
them to look out for EJ, Gasper. We'll take care of him. Little Mikey. And what's the other one's name? We know Mikey. Does the other one look like you too? Little Mikey favors his daddy. George is going to be there. All right, George. We'll see you.
I think the worst thing you can do is put one of these conventions in our busy season. But what I think is pretty cool is, having ASTI and PSA at different, a few apart in timeline, because if you can't make one, you can try to hit the other one. And you'll see some of the same faces, because there are plenty of people that are members of both and that go to both or go to one or the other. So you get a chance to continue to meet new people and network with them, which is even more fun, because thanks to the Appliance Alliance, the Service Alliance, I get to hang out with everybody electronically every day if I'm connected, and then to see them face to face. So pretty cool partnership there.
I thought it was fun with ASTI, because we started doing this a few months before, and we went to ASTI, and so many people recognized me.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm not used to that. Like, people in my hometown barely know who the heck I am.
That's right.
Yeah. And hey, EJ, but they don't know me.
Right.
Walking around and people know me, and it's like, because we've communicated online.
Yeah.
And Joe, what's up? I remember I met John Toller. We just had him on a few days ago with TK, and he was like, "Hey, EJ." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, what's your name?" And he's like, "John Toller." I was like, "Oh, you're the guy with the Marine uniform in your profile picture." Like, that's how I know.
There you go. Yeah.
However your profile pictures, that's how I know you. So look like that when you meet us, and we'll know who you are.
But I feel like I got to know you guys and develop a tighter friendship or bond before we met face to face. That was like the final piece that brought it all together. You know what I mean? So it is, as a 52-year-old guy, it is pretty amazing that this forum of connecting can be real and fruitful and helpful. You know what I mean? So for those TV shows that my wife might watch, what is that? The 90-Day Fiance, or these people who meet loved ones online and don't see each other for a year or two. I'm like, how can that be a real thing? I don't understand it. What if there's a arm growing out of their head or something like that, but they've already fallen in love and they'll accept the arm, So yeah, I love it. I feel like it wouldn't be great unless we could see each other face to face and stay connected every day. So it is the best of all worlds going on right now, 2022. So
and be ready if people don't look how you pictured them. I didn't realize that Doug was 6 foot tall.
You thought I was a hobbit, right? Because of the way I sound with my Jay Leno voice. That's great. Thanks.
No, George, I don't think I'll be asked to sign any autographs. I'm not that guy, but if you want one, I'll sign one for you. But I ain't that famous. Nobody still knows who I am.
Yeah.
I like to play with my kids, and I'm like, hey, I'm a YouTuber.
That's it.
I'm not. So we're going to talk about making the big decisions today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure all of us can relate. I certainly can, and Doug's admitted as well. Putting off a big decision or procrastinating a lot of times looks like I'm analyzing the data. I want to make sure it's perfect. I'm going to plan and plan and plan, and then you never do it, right? So that's what we're going to do. Morning, Rob. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to pray, and then we're going to chat a little bit of strategy and process for making these big decisions and moving forward and see what happens. Doug, you want to do the prayer, and then I'll do the scripture.
Good morning, Lord. We are here today. Thank you for that. Thank you for us being here today. And Lord, today we ask that you show us the places where we need to be, the right time, the right place, the right moment. God, your timing is perfect. Sometimes your timing is extremely annoying. Sometimes we don't understand your timing. But thank you, Lord, for us being able to, through the gift of your Holy Spirit, to look backwards and to trust in you moving forward, that you are always the same God. You are always there looking out for us, and that you're a patient God. You're kind and loving when we question or doubt. And so, God, we just pray that today we follow you with all our heart, mind, and soul, and that we have an impact on those people around us, whether it's customers, employees, strangers, family, or friends. Fill us with grace, fill us with love, and let us help make other people's day better. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Always a treat. Always a treat.
Rob, my knee hurts. I'm not training. My knee, it hurts. Yeah.
I tell you what, I saw pictures from Zach's run, and I didn't see any of him smiling.
Smiling? Exactly. That was totally set up and fake. Yeah, that's fake news. Fake news.
Of course, you smile when you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right. After the colonoscopy, you're smiling, right? But before that, you're not. It's the same thing.
Rob says you got two knees. Just use
there
those.
you go. There you go.
All right. So, where am I at? Oh yeah, that's where I was. Scripture. Let's start with a bit of scripture, and then we'll chat. Decision making the tough decision. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Okay. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Yeah. I've got anxiety. I get anxious. I want to make these decisions. Like I'll tell you, as a tech for working for somebody else, I hated change, right? And you really had to sell a change to me. And it's just like, hey, look, it's working. Let's just keep going, right? Whether it worked or not, I didn't want to know the change. But as a business owner, I recognize areas that need to be improved or changed, thrown out completely. And now I'm anxious about it, not in a way that I want to do it quicker. I'm terrified. Like I know I have to make a change and do something, but then I drag it out. So I shared on Friday that I met with a business coach outside of our industries, and she walked me through some of my decisions that I had to make. And it was like, what's the biggest hurdle that I have right now? And we're draining some money, right? And it's a lot of businesses do that. You make money, like we're doing great making money, and for some reason there's just not. It's not all there. Like where the heck is it going? And I identified months ago I'm losing money in parts.
Mm.
My inventory's not right. And we're ordering parts that I'm sure we have. We're ordering parts that we didn't need, and we're not sending them back. Different things, just normal mistakes. Newer business. That's what we're doing. And she walked me through this process, and she didn't have it wrote out. But I started studying it in the John Maxwell. So shout out to John Maxwell. If you're not reading any of his stuff, check it out. He's a genius. Gasper is fortunate enough to be going to his church where he preaches. Can you hear the dogs in the background?
I can. I thought it was chickens at first. I was like, where are we?
I don't know why. They're all downstairs. So anyways, he's got a 4-step process, and I'm going to kind of go through it, and just bear with me as I read a little bit, and then we'll chat, okay? Step 1, take responsibility. The bottom line is this: nothing changes if nothing changes. We've heard that. I've also heard the saying, the pain of change has to be less than the pain of same. It's like staying in the same situation is worse than the change. Procrastination kills leadership effectiveness today and leadership potential tomorrow. Whatever is your biggest problem now will be your biggest problem next week and next month unless you do something about it. What decisions have you been putting off? So think about that. Think about these decisions that you've been stewing on, is what I like to say. Prepare yourself is step 2. Are you feeling anxious about those looming choices? Do some research to boost your decision-making confidence. Pick one of those problems and list the information you need to move forward and seek appropriate counsel to help you decide. So we talk about keeping wise counsel around you. That's why we keep Doug. His parables guide us and direct us. We pray to Jesus, and he sends us Doug Shear for wisdom. So keep your wise counsel around you and consult them. You don't have to take their answers, but gather all the information you can. Step 3 is reflect. Once you've completed the first 2 steps, consider where that knowledge takes you. What insights did you gain? Did you discover things below the surface? Step 4, determine your action plan. This is probably the most important because we've all probably done step 1, 2, and 3 over and over and over and over and over. Step 4, action. What do you need to do before you take action? Should you meet with key influencers? Write a step-by-step strategy? Consult with experts? List your next moves and give yourself a deadline to make them. It's just something that hit me as I shared with her that I need to get my parts inventory in line. And I explained all the reasons why. I explained to her my 1, 2, and 3. This is how I need to do it. I know exactly how. I know why. All of this. And she said, okay, so when are you going to do it? I was like, okay. She said, what date? And I had to pick a date. Like I've got it all figured out. Why? All I got to do is do it.
Yeah.
The summary: act immediately. Although it's your responsibility to deliberate options and make educated decisions, this is where I got stuck. You'll also encounter situations in which you must think on your feet. Great leaders act with limited information. Take action using your knowledge and instincts to guide you. Be confident. Don't waste time and energy second-guessing yourself. Make decisions and move on. The highway is full of flattened squirrels that couldn't make a decision. That one kind of grabbed me by the throat. I was like,
in the neck. Yeah.
That's so simple to understand.
Yeah.
You make a decision, or you might end up flat on the highway, right? And think about your payoff. your motivation to act comes from the benefits you envision. Is your team morale likely to improve? Absolutely. Will productivity increase? Absolutely. Will you see an impact on the bottom line? Absolutely. Focus on those positives. Make a move, and then pivot if you need to. It's that easy. And we all do it. We all procrastinate. We all drag it out. We all just want to overanalyze. Make a move. Get some accountability partners. Use a mastermind group if you're in one. If you're not in one, find one. There's lots of them out there. Peer groups, masterminds, whatever. What do you think, Doug?
Well, first off, don't you hate it when something like this is shared and it seems like it's just like common sense, like it's so stupid common sense, but yet but first off, it's not, it's hard, but sometimes there's a triggering word or phrase or moment in your life that you've heard it before, but in that moment the light switches on for you and you get inspired and then you make a change. And so all we have to do to help one another in this industry, in this community, is continue to make these potential moments. And if it's just one person that says, oh, I get it, because nothing changes if nothing changes. I mean, that's so complicated that you have to sit there and ponder it for a minute, right? But it is simple. And it's a mindset. It's a mindset. But you can't just I don't think you can just go from there and be successful. That's why I love the Maxwell thing. I love that you love the Maxwell thing, because I'm not reading any Maxwell. So when you share it, I get it. So I've already taken this that you texted me last night, put it on a Google Doc, and I'm going to use it at work. I'm going to process my approaches to things through this, and so it's pretty cool. Very, very, very helpful. And I think we all could relate to this pain of being stuck, not wanting to change something,
Yeah.
I think I got roped into Angie's List again. and I'm hoping Jay's not listening, but I think we're resubscribed and paying a monthly fee, and it's really hard to kill it. It's really hard to stop it. Like you can't, your rep doesn't get back to you. You click on help on the website, they'll get back to you. And I'm afraid to hear the bad news that I'm locked in for years. I think you said that a few months ago, and I was like, my stomach turned for a minute. So I put my head in the sand and I said, well, whatever it is, I'm going to cancel the card. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed about the fact that I think I got roped into Angie's List again.
Is it not working for you?
Angie's List?
Yeah.
Or putting my head in the sand and pretending it didn't really happen.
Angie's List.
Both are not working for me. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So I found out the hard way that, like, I did Angie for a month and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to cancel, I'm not really into it. They was like, oh, well, you're, they kept asking, like, well, why don't you like it? And this, I'm like, look, I'm just done. Okay. I'm done. I don't want to do it. He said, well, you're on a contract. I said, no, I'm not. They sent me. I was like, okay, I am. For a year. And to get out of it early, you have to pay off 50% of what you owe for the rest of the year.
Right.
At Facebook user, this is what I do too. On the Angie lead side, which is Home Advisor, you can only pause it 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
And that's what I do. But on the Angie side, Angie ads, that's the one you get stuck on. I'm keeping it. I get some calls a month. That's profitable.
Yeah.
Barely. But I told them cancel the auto renew. I'm done. But that, we don't need to get onto that topic. But that's a decision that you've been putting off, right?
Yeah.
So this decision that I had to make about the inventory. It was huge. And just making the decision, setting a date, gave me a boost of energy.
That's
and
great.
excitement. I was able to share with my team that we're making this change and how it'll make it better, and we're going to make their jobs easier. And I'm excited because it's man, it's so freeing to get to that point and just be able to make that move. Jojo on the ads, he says, I have Google ads. I'm having trouble. They keep saying they're pausing my advertisement for something I'm doing wrong. Is
We're all
Google
having
ads
those
work?
problems. Yeah.
Yes.
Google's in a little transition right now, so things are happening, but
Google is worth it.
yeah.
If you do it right and you got the right people doing it, uh, definitely worth it. Jojo, thanks for the question. So, you guys out there, share with us. We did share your weaknesses a while back. Share what decision you're putting off. What's the big decision that you ain't making that you need to make and you've been putting it off? Which one are you
Yeah.
overanalyzing? Overanalyzing. Are you preparing? Are you just making the plan perfect? Uh, that's what scared the crap out of me. It's like I got to do an inventory and implement a parts procedure
Yeah.
and make sure everybody knows how to do it right
But
before
again, EJ, the thing is getting inspired by the deadline, right? Which I hope it works for you. I'm also thinking like maybe some sort of flow chart for our processes in situations like this. And maybe it can work off of John Maxwell's approach here, like where you kind of got to fill in the blanks, and it's like being pushed it slowly through that process. Because like maybe you're inspired today, EJ, but like how are you going to pull it off? And so I'm imagining some sort of 5-step thing where you have to answer these questions that give you the confidence and the strength to take the next thing. Like, and I was thinking about my office staff. They're not new, but I have 4 people that are answering phones that are less than a year to 3 months or so. And when people want to cancel their repair after we've ordered a part for all kinds of different reasons, we figured this thing out years and years ago. We have a restocking fee and when it gets applied and when it doesn't get applied. But our current office staff, the newer people, they don't know. They don't know how to process that. They don't have the answers. That's an overwhelming decision for them. They try to remember the last time we guided them on a different customer, but that was a different scenario. We've under-equipped them to handle the problem. So where do you think it goes to? Well, it goes to me or the office manager, and we do it. I want to empower everyone to make great decisions. I want my customer, if they decide not to go ahead, to get these great questions presented back to them. Well, why? Are you sure? What about this? Are you concerned about the restocking fee? So I feel like some sort of form can help all of us make decisions that seem overwhelming, including my office staff with refunds.
That's a good point.
I'll share it with you, EJ, and you can tell me if it's a good project or not, right? Because what is it? At some point, you have to make an action plan. You have to take some steps that are going to be next, right? So if we were to take a look at yours while people are sharing their issues, like your parts thing, EJ, if we were to play through this 4-step approach, so you've identified it, you've sought out counsel, someone reaffirmed with you, well, that sounds like it's a pretty big deal, EJ. It sounds like it's a big solution to your money problem. Let's set a date. So now the next step would be what? To identify what the steps are and to put a timeline on the steps. Is that what would be the next thing?
Yeah, that's it, man. And of course, you're in the mastermind group with me, and I kind of hit that realization. Like she had me set the date, but we didn't talk about how to get it done. And it's like, wait a minute, how do I do this?
Yeah.
I thought, I've been planning this for months. I already know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And but I haven't done that work either.
Right.
And so we decided in the mastermind group that I'm going to start with an SOP, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to handle parts coming in, parts going out, using, reordering, and I'm supposed to develop that this week.
Cool.
Okay. And that's due by Friday for our next mastermind meeting. And it can be wrong. And that's, I had to give myself permission to do it wrong. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be wrong. It will be wrong. Not it can be. It will be wrong.
Right.
The way I write it the first time is not going to be the way we do it next year.
That's right. That's right.
But I have to do something.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. And it says here, be confident. Don't waste time and energy second guessing yourself. Just write it out.
Yeah.
As we do it, we will find the holes, and then we can pivot, make the decision, and move on at that point. Okay, this don't work. Let's do it this way. Let's change this one little thing, and we'll be all right. And Facebook users talking about expanding, right? And that's one that I drug out for a long time because I wasn't ready. Get your processes figured out before you expand. Now, I'm not saying keep putting it off, Facebook user. Sometimes you got to grow in order to grow, right? But anyways, back to your thing. The action. Yeah. Where was you going?
Yeah, no, I feel like if there's a path laid out for us, any task, no matter how big it is or small it is, can be easily done. Maybe there's a decision that it's 3 items that you have to make sure you have in place before you make the decision. That's great. Maybe you're going to be a kind of company like me. Like my mindset is I want the entire company to understand the why we're making a decision. And so I have to make sure that I'm consistent in that because they're going to come to expect to hear the why over it all. Right.
Yeah.
And then I need people like you to remind me that in my company, there are going to be people that hate change, no matter how good it is. Like literally, it's a great change for them, but they got a big sour puss on their face, and it's just hilarious to me. But that's who they are, and I'm not judging them. I'm just acknowledging that they're the Oscar the Grouch, right? And then you have people that are completely open to it, and then you have the people that are completely oblivious to your decisions that you make. And so again, for me, I know at my company and the way I think, part of my action list item would be some sort of communication of why we're making that change in the company, to give everyone the opportunity and love them where they're at and how they meet that need. But I get overwhelmed when there's too many steps, when it's a 10, 12 step process to get it done. Like what you're doing for parts. If I had to start from scratch on how to do that, that would be an overwhelming one for me. But imagine you just ticking off the list. Like, have you gotten the rest of the list together? Like you have SOP, you want to have a process, a written process, not for just this one coming up, but for whenever you're going to do it, right? So do you have it all figured out in your head yet, EJ, how often you're going to do it? The method, the paperwork, the forms, do you have all that figured out?
I've got a lot of it figured out in my head. You want to see?
Yeah, but would you be encouraged with a list, on a Google Doc or a piece of paper, and at the end of this week when you check that one off and you've got 6 more things to go, right?
I'm absolutely that guy.
Yeah,
That's how I plan to start my SOP. of course, being a member of the Service Alliance group, with All Access, I have the SOP template, and there is a parts SOP similar to this. This may or may not end up as one of those when I'm done, but I have a great start because I have that. But that's how I start my SOPs, because for me, I'm a slow starter. TK is a very good starter and sometimes struggles with the finishing part. I struggle starting, and I'm pretty good at finishing. So we work really well together. TK will vomit his ideas all over a piece of paper in whatever order or appearance, and I help make it look nicer. And he's gotten really good at that, actually, by the way. So he's probably the stronger one now. But I'll start with steps on what a list of things how I want it to be done in my head, just randomly, and then we'll go into it that way. But we got a couple comments here. Segaponics says he's struggling with the decision to have someone answer the phone besides him.
Yeah.
Now, if we can play your counsel, how to say, appropriate counsel to help you decide. That's something you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're struggling with the cost of it, one thing that I consider, where it says here, right? You was talking about walking through them, right? Here we go. Where's that part at? I can't find it, but will it make you profitable? Right? Mm-hmm. Can you manage the cost of it? How much is it going to cost you a week to have somebody answer the phones that's not you? Mm-hmm. And what will you gain from it?
Yep.
Let's just throw a round number out there, right? Even if I don't know where you live, and I'm just going to throw out $800, $800 a week. Could be less, could be more. If you're using my office help, it's less, and you get more people. Hint, hint. But how many calls would you need to pick up that you're probably missing because you're working and didn't answer the phone fast enough and they found somebody else?
Yeah.
How many? What's your average ticket value and how many jobs? Is that reasonable to expect that you would get 5 more jobs a week by paying somebody else to answer it? Then yes, you can afford it, right? What's the value of it? You get customers saying, wow, this person was great. The transactions were perfect, right? You got the professional appearance, that you have somebody answering the phone and somebody doing the work, that you're not just a one-man show. Kind of looks sloppy sometimes, even as professional as you can. If you're the person answering the phone and doing the calls, it lacks a little bit of professional appearance. Still great, but what else?
Well, there's definitely pros and cons. I mean, to be the person that answers the phone, you're going to be 110% invested. You're going to ask the perfect questions because you're doing the call too. So you have to know that when you're giving that up to someone else to represent on your behalf, you have to take the good with the bad with that, I think that like, I love what you were saying. Like, there's 2 ways you can cover the cost by raising your price, which if you're a one-man show, you can't be the most expensive guy in your neighborhood. And, so you certainly can afford to add the cost there. But what is exciting is what you talked about, EJ. How many more calls a week, because I would become more efficient, would I get that I never would have had? Forget the price increase. just above and beyond that. That's like a double layer of return, I think, on your investment by bringing someone on. Now when they call out sick, then you're going to be a little aggravated. That's the new thing, right? You're going to have to deal with relationships after that. But I think it's a reasonable, good next step for sure. You went through that, right, EJ? You chose to say, I want to give my customers that I'm in the house my undivided attention. And when I leave there and they need me for a follow-up question, I want to make sure that I'm meeting them right where they're at as quick as possible, as professional as possible. So you chose to add people to your system, right?
Well, the first one was my wife. Like any normal one-man show, your wife, somebody close to you that you know. Maybe your wife's got a job and she's not the one, but finding somebody to do it, right? You know what the first step to that is? Write a procedure of how you want to have the call to go, the script. You guys got a script?
Yeah.
I have a script. I made a form. I didn't make a script per se. I made a form that had everything in order: name, address, phone number, blah blah blah, what appliance, and all the information I needed collected. And very basic questions like, is it stacked? Is it gas or electric? Right? Built in, yes or no? And I expected it all to be completed. So start with something. Take your action. Segaponics. If you want a deadline, set yourself a date. Tell somebody, and have them check in with you. You do this. Saul, keeping me accountable, brother. I got you. He said, did you create an inventory spreadsheet sorted by trucks yet? I'll tell you what I have. I have a list, a spreadsheet of parts I want to keep on the truck. So when you think about, everybody asks a minimum part stock, and it depends on your area. Okay, so don't ask that too much, right? I made one. I made one for myself. I sought counsel. I had other people check my list that are smarter than me, find the things that I am missing, and add some stuff. And I decided this is the stuff I want to have on each truck. And it's wrong. It's wrong. But I have a list.
Yeah.
And it's going to be wrong. But I can change it. And that's what Saul's talking about. Steps. Get your steps in line, right? I found the inventory I want. Now what we're going to do for our process is we're going to start with that list. All the quantities are 0. And as we go through, we have a starting point. If we find it on the truck and it's on that list, we add the quantity. If it's not on that list and it's in the truck, we add it to the list. Because I need to find out what we have compared to what we need, cut the fat, and build up where we need to, add the muscle, right? So yeah, thanks for calling me out, Saul. If you're thinking about inventory, you can take some of my advice, or you can make it better. Surely yours will be better than mine. Phil, tiny truck stock, he says. He's probably like Glenn, carrying as little as possible, but bringing what you need.
But Phil has done the legwork on this. He's thought it through, right? And his approach to this parts thing. He's come up with a structure and a process, which again, overwhelming as can be. So I love what you keep saying. I have a list, but it's wrong, right? It's your best first attempt, and we have to remember to just keep tweaking it, and we're all going to come at a different angle, but we can tell here that Phil has thought all this stuff through, and there's a million ways to look at it. You could sit there and think, all right, this particular GE washer, if I had this medium priced part that's kind of costly, it's not an easy decision. could having it on the truck right then and there sell the job, where it's a deal breaker if I don't have it. I can get it to you tomorrow. I can be back tomorrow. Nah, if you had it, I would do it. Right now, people will say that, but now you got to keep track of how often it's said. So you really need to get the list going and know that it will always be changing and ever changing. We used to have, this was like 15 years ago. The trucks were just getting really messy. We had more messy trucks than clean trucks. And on my truck, for you old folks, would be like KitchenAid Hobart dishwasher parts and, a pressure switch for a Maytag Dependable Care washer. We used to keep a common truck stock one on there and things like that. And we decided, what am I in that moment? My mindset was, the problem is they're minivans and there's like 950 parts and they're not even using this. This guy that's 24, he probably sees a KitchenAid Hobart dishwasher, doesn't even take it apart. And it's probably like, that's really old, man. You better just go buy a new one, right? Because I'm looking at the report and I'm not seeing them using the parts. So I decided to pull the parts off the truck and minimize the list and keep them in stock. Well, that didn't have the effect I wanted. They were still messy trucks. And now I have all these old parts sitting in my building. And you know what I mean? Of course, then I sold all those parts. And then my 26-year-old guy goes, "Hey, old man," that's what they call me when it's an old appliance. "There's this KitchenAid Hobart dishwasher." And I was like, damn, I sold the part, it's discontinued. But like, our mindsets guide us through it. We got to start with the one list and you got to feel these scenarios out. And if you had to figure it all out in one moment, it's overwhelming and we'll put it aside and ignore it. Is that kind of how it went for you a little bit, EJ? You just put it aside saying, not right now, man. And you have some good excuses, some good justifications. Like, "Oh man, it was just me and my wife. And now I have 3 technicians. My plate is full." But grabbing it and putting the list down and taking it one step at a time. And even if you set a goal and you don't hit your goal with your accountability partner, your mentor, and you get it done a week or 2 after that, still a victory. Still a victory, right?
Yeah. So, I love setting goals that I can't reach.
Yeah.
They're realistic.
Yeah.
But I probably won't reach them.
Right.
You've been part of the quarterly meetings when I say I didn't hit my
Yeah.
But I really freaking close. And I'm like, watch out.
Yep.
So Scott says down in Richmond they got 3 part suppliers within 5 miles. 5 days.
Different approach. Yeah.
Yet you and TK are both still driving a Chevy Express 2500.
8-cylinder turbo.
You guys are an extra supply house rolling around town. I hear you. Andrew says truck stock is one of the most underrated parts of our jobs and one of the most profit first pieces. That's true. I'll tell you, if you're starting a business, you're still new, get it started first before you bring other people in. It's harder. I promise it's harder after you have other people. Phil, you're late. Phil, you're late to the discussion, buddy. I'm going. Justin Gandy's going. And Mike Carson. Doug is not. Gasper is not, but he is sending Mikey and Frank. George Dempsey is coming. Anybody else? Let us know if you're going to PSA. If you don't have your tickets yet, we have a discount SVA promo code for $50 off. Phil says I have shop meetings when y'all start. Oh, when we start our meeting? I had my first meeting. That was one of my goals. Start monthly meetings. I had my first one Wednesday last week. We had a question come in earlier, and
I was going to ask you about that one.
I didn't ignore it, Emmett. We was just in the middle of a conversation, and we're coming back to you now, brother. He says, when is it time to hire? What's your gauge? What do you gauge? Do you have to have certain amount of dollars saved, amount of scheduled calls, days booked out, I think I want help, or I might be getting lazy. And I wrestled with that too. I wrestled with that too. Um, I'll start. Uh, I started looking to hire when I was booked out solid for myself. I'm talking 10 calls a day on average, way more than I could handle. I like to stay 6 to 8 when I'm running full, and I was losing calls. So, kind of like the discussion about hiring a person for the funds. When it would pay, when you have enough calls that you're losing, that if you had them, it could pay the tech to work. That's one thing. Definitely have money saved up. We call it, Dave Ramsey calls it the emergency fund. I would definitely make sure you have several paychecks for you and the tech sitting somewhere and for the rainy day. The winter is coming, as I said in Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. So December, January, February, if you're not in South Florida, is our slow season in appliance repair anyway. Make sure that you have enough to do. That's my thoughts anyway.
So let me ask you something, EJ, and maybe Emmett. How much did it in your decision? What the idea of where you're going to be in a year or two or 5 years from now? How much did that have a part to play in your decision when you were booking out? Because just as you're booked out in the summer, we're always concerned about will we have the work in the winter. So it's really hard to ever say and know exactly if you need more help or not. I mean, there's low-hanging fruit moments, but how much influence do you think a big picture perspective played on your part, EJ, in hiring somebody else when you hired them?
That's a good point. That's a good point. It depends on what you want your business to be. What is your goals, right? I feel like that's where you're at. So some people want to stay a one-man show. Some people want to conquer the world. Phil's watching. You want to build the empire, right? I'm somewhere in between, and I had already known that I wanted to have at least a handful because I wanted to help as many people in the area as I could. And I found that I like helping people, my techs. I get the most joy out of helping them now.
Right.
So, Phil, build the empire. Yeah, so I had to think, and we talked about this too when you're hiring somebody, is are they just filling your need? Or do you feel a need for them, right? What do I plan to do with this tech? And can I sustain it? So I want to grow. I need a tech. I've already found that spot. Like I have the money and I have the need, the demand. What am I going to do with him? Do I have a van? Do I have parts? Do I have tools? I can kind of see where you're going with it, man. It's does it all fit? Does it all fit the business strategy? And are you ready?
I mean, I think I might try to develop a little session for ASTI to talk about this very thing. And, I just don't think that that's a decision you can make unless you know where you want to be in 2 or 5 years from now, And let me ask you something. You shared that you love to help your techs. Did you have any idea, and maybe you did because you are an above average human being, EJ, did you have any idea that when you were hiring people, the idea that you would be off the road sometimes or all the time to be there to help them, make them become better techs? You love that. That fills your tank, that drives you. Did you know that was that a reason why you want it to be where you're at, where you can be off the road if you need be? Or is this just one of those added bonuses of a
Yeah.
fruit that comes from being the wise EJ that you are?
I'll tell you, to be brutally honest, I was like Emmett, right? Uh, part of why I wanted to have multiple techs was so that I could get paid to not do the work. Right.
That's very honest. I love that. That's great.
I created a business, and I understood that a business is best if it can run without you.
Yes.
Right. So my goal was to build something that could eventually run without me. Not so I could be lazy and not so I could just make money off of other people, but I created a business. First, I started doing this to make money for me and my family, to provide for us. But as I decided it was going to be a business and I wanted to grow, that was the intent, was retirement. Eventually, I could retire and turn this over to somebody and make money. I honestly, I think it was an added bonus, but as I realized it, that's why I do it. I mean, the other stuff is there, but it's not the driving force. It's not the motivation, and it's hard, man. You asked the hard question, man, and I owe it to you guys.
I think you answered it. I think you answered it really well. And I don't know Emmett. Now I want to know Emmett, but the reality is, what are you hoping for, Emmett? If the idea is that you have a business, as EJ was talking about, that runs itself, it generates revenue so that you don't have to be on your hands and feet every day. I don't think that's lazy at all, because if you're a business owner, Emmett, you're the real deal, man. That's not for everybody. Not everyone has I don't own an appliance repair business. I never had the courage, the strength, and the commitment and the confidence to do that myself. Maybe I could now, but the reality is, Emmett, you are a rock star already because you own your own business. And so your decisions to move forward should never be guilt or any kind of judgment. You've made it. And if you want it to be where you're overseeing, then that's great. If you want to start another business at the same time and you can do both, that's great. That's smart. And it's definitely not lazy. So very impressive, Emmett.
Yeah, that's right. That's and Maurice is saying he wants to find people that are goal driven and willing to sit back and learn.
Yes.
So that's part of the steps. We're talking about steps to hiring somebody.
Yep.
You got to identify your target, right? When you're starting your business, you want to identify the services that you provide and who you're providing them to. Who's your target customer?
Right.
You want to find your target techs, your target CSR. What personality traits do they have? And then find out if they fit. JoJo checking in. It's hard here trying to find a tech, even by advertising and asking friends. So I'm at a standstill right now on a tag, but really want one is a good idea. It is a good idea. I trained my son for a few years and he worked with me, but he decided to do something else. Mine did too. I think I pushed it too hard on my son. Yeah, that's a
real deal. That's a real,
man. A lot of people fall victim to the need, and they hire out of desperation, and they end up hiring the wrong people. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So, to some degree, yeah, you procrastinate this a little bit, but you don't want to do it too much. You got to find that line. Find a good person that's willing to learn and has some tangible skills.
Yeah. I think it again depends on your preference. If you're willing to hire someone experienced and deal with the pros and cons of that, go for it. Try it. I'm going to do it wrong, right? Your form. I like it. Now everything is wrong from now on. I'm putting something together and it's wrong. It's wrong to start with, but it's fun to try stuff especially to dream and try it. It does get tiresome cleaning up the messy decisions that you made that didn't work out, but it makes you a better person trying. So, the reality is looking for someone. Maybe Jojo, you were saying I got to train him from scratch. Rethink it. Think about maybe trying to find someone experienced. What does it take? I have a great BNI friend, and he's like, "Is there competitors out there? Buy them. Get a loan and buy them. Buy their people, right? Because isn't that what you need? Is you need people?" And I'm like, "Yo, this guy's like, I wouldn't want to play Monopoly against, this my friend Joe, right? Because he's brutal, but he's got a good point. Anything is on the table, right? If I need techs, and you got to, anything is possible, and it is hard though. It is hard, but putting a plan in place, those little individual steps, I think, are pretty critical. So
yeah,
or else you shelf it. You just shelf it. You're like, oh well, I'm at the mercy of no one responding to my ad. I've asked 1,000 people if they want to work for me. All right, I'm gonna just shelf it. That's procrastination. But looking at the plan and saying, and Jojo, if you said, yo, I definitely, or Emmett, I definitely want to have a second technician or first technician by the end of 2023. All you're going to keep doing is course correcting what isn't working until you find it. And you don't procrastinate. You continue to persevere. Now, it's not what you obsess on every single day, but you don't take it off your radar. It's one of the spinning plates that you have. And when you see an opportunity, because that plate is still spinning, you will pursue it, even when you're busy that day doing 10 calls and answering the phones all by yourself.
Yeah. That's some pretty bold advice, though. I mean, what your friend's saying is make it happen, right?
Make it happen.
But
yeah.
I want to say, I don't want to be that guy that goes and buys my competitors' techs. I don't know, and maybe that'll change. But
EJ, you'd be the perfect guy. Like it now. Obviously, I know there's great companies out there, but if you were to identify a company, right, you're not gonna. If it's a great company with a great culture, you're probably not going to be able to afford it. But if you were to, pursue a company and they're open to dialogue and you're having a conversation and you read what they're saying, yeah, my guys, they're not grateful. I let them use their own car and I give them a gas card every month, but they want more and gas. You can read between the lines and say, hey, could I interview those guys? Can I talk with them? And you see a diamond in the rough. I don't know, EJ, to go from somebody who's not giving it their all to come work for you could potentially be the best move in their lives to have their business bought out by you. Wouldn't you say?
Now you're talking about buying a business or buying their techs. You
have to do both. You got to do both, right?
I took it as poaching.
No, buy their business, buy their phone number, buy their customers, buy their company, not their people. No, buy their company.
That I can get behind. I misunderstood. I took it as you're catching them in the parts house and
no.
Saying, hey, I got a spot for you.
No, my friend Joe continues, and he's great because he can remember all his parables, where I can't remember mine. They always have the most immense integrity, and he'll put his neck out there. He'll put a lot of money out there because he knows what he knows and he believes what he believes, and he always makes whatever he does multiply and grow because his head isn't in the sand and he's very smart. But he never tries to undercut anybody, and that's definitely the right thing to do.
Phil, making moves. He's not one that procrastinates.
No.
Gets the info and he goes and makes it happen.
But this isn't by chance. This is Phil. This is Phil's business model. This is Phil's approach, right? And I've met Phil and talked with him, and you've talked to him a million times. I mean, his heart is to rescue those people struggling in a 27-year business and help them make a good living, and take over the business. Phil's got a great method. I love it.
Makes it good for everybody. Where's this one at? Phil, what city are you in now? What city and state? Did you add a state, or did you just grow? Maurice, lead by example. I love that. You do the right thing. It's what we stand for. You lead by doing.
Yep.
And doing it right. That's so he just grew in his home area.
Nice.
Augusta. Good deal. Good deal. Well, we're over an hour, and it's Monday. We're both still at home.
Why are you calling me out? This could have been my office. What are you doing, man?
I thought about that as I said it too, but
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So we got to get to work. That's all we have for you today. Get up and do something. Make that decision. Make it with confidence because you've already done all the planning.
Yeah.
Take your steps. Set a deadline. Set that accountability partner.
Celebrate the checklist. Celebrate the checklist for sure.
Gas spares. I can't.
I think he sounds like a swinger when he's saying that.
We got the end on that. I'm not bringing my wife, but we'll see you guys tomorrow with Zach and Doug will be back, and I'll be back on Friday with TK. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.